Now the next one, we got a very good game, kind of like with Donnie. This was one of your games where I'm tipping this team, but don't be surprised. We've gotten that a little bit of panic in the last number of rounds. So we had North Melbourne and Essendon, and the Dons survived a bit of a scare in this one as they really turn it on in the second half, and they finally break into that top eight. They finally get there, and so now the real question is, can they hold on to it? But they turn up the defense, as in the first half they looked like they were playing a little bit off the ball, kind of giving up uncontested marks and just being a little bit, I guess maybe a little bit too relaxed, I guess if that's how you want to say it. But then you transition, you start playing a lot tougher defense. You got Jake Stringer stepping up mostly in the second half. He gets finishes with 4 goals in the day. Darcy Parrish, let me know if you guys have heard this one before, but he finishes with another 30 plus disposals in this game. And this, kind of like I said in the intro, this game really went to show that you cannot take any team lightly, even if it's the bottom team in the league. And like I said, the question is, will Essendon be able to hold on to their spot? Another question, will the Roos actually be able to avoid finishing at the bottom? Right now, it looks tough to determine that, just because they have some close games that they could win. Maybe games like Adelaide or games like Carlton, but it's going to be tough against it when you got guys like Geelong, Richmond, Sydney. Those, I mean, obviously they might play those teams a little bit better than you would expect, but ultimately they shouldn't be getting those games. And for Essendon, the last games that they have in the season is the Giants, the Swans, the Doggies, Gold Coast, and Collingwood. Now, your only two, I guess, I'm not going to say obvious, but more obvious wins would be against Gold Coast and Collingwood. And if you can pull off against GWS, which we'll see when we get to our tipping, that those 3 of 5 could actually get you into the finals, but it's going to be really, really close.
This is a couple of battler. There's a couple of battler teams. A couple of teams that I think a lot of people were seeing towards the bottom of the ladder this year, with Essendon losing Sod and losing Danaher, but they drafted so incredibly well, and they've most of the draft picks have all hit. They've played really, really well. Essendon came out flat in this game, and North Melbourne was all over them at first, and it was to the point where you're kind of, is Essendon, is North Melbourne going to take another scalp when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to a team close to the finals and kind of ruin their chances of making the finals? Essendon, I mean, when Jake Stringer, for some weird reason, when this guy gets into a contract year and he needs to get more money on his contract, he becomes an absolute maniac superstar, and he does it again, kicking 4 goals in this game, and that really kind of lit a fire under Essendon. And again, this young team that they just get after you, they come and they come and they come. And North Melbourne, again, they played a tough physical. They stayed in this game. That by all intents and purposes, they shouldn't be this close. They shouldn't be within 18 of the Essendon Bombers, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. So again, another tough matchup, another good game by Coach Noble's boys. And I'm if I'm any team, even Geelong, I don't want to face North Melbourne right now because they're just tough. They aren't going to let you. They aren't going to roll over.
No.
They're going to give you headaches, and it will not surprise me if they nip a few teams in these last few weeks going into the finals.
Also, I kind of hope so, just because the story of them maybe ruining some finals hopes for some teams would be kind of funny, to be honest. Imagine if you have a team like the Roos. They're the ones that are ultimately able to put the nail in the coffin for the Richmond Tigers. That would be something else, and that would play out very well on Twitter. I am 100% sure about that one.
Comment sections are going to be so much fun in this video.
Fingers crossed.